Hello again. I hope you are well, enjoying the weather wherever you are, your family, friends. Let's read chapter 4. I'm very curious to see what's happening. Are you? Chapter 4. Ram Dass and the Monkey. Every morning, when Sarah gave the birds their bread, she looked across to the attic window next door, but nobody opened it. Nobody called out, "Good morning," across the roof, or gave Sarah a friendly smile. Perhaps the Indian gentleman servants all sleep downstairs, she thought sadly. Her life was very lonely now. She saw Becky every day, of course, but they did not have much time for talking. The cook and the other servants were not friendly. Sometimes at night, Ermengarde came up to Sarah's room, but it was not easy for her to come often. Then one evening, Sarah was in her attic when she heard a noise on the roof. She looked up, and there at the open window was a small monkey. "Oh, you dear little thing!" cried Sarah. At once the monkey jumped down and started to run round the room. Sarah laughed. She got up on the table and looked out of her window, and at the next window she saw a face, the smiling face of an Indian lascar. "Oh!" cried Sarah. "Have you got a monkey? He's in my room." The lascar's name was Ramdas, and yes, it was his monkey. He gave Sarah a big smile. "I'm very sorry," he said. "Can I come and get him?" "Yeah, yes, please," said Sarah. "I think he's scared of me. And he runs so fast. But can you get across the roof?" Yes, Ramdas could, and a minute later he was at Sarah's window. Soon the monkey jumped into his arms, and Ramdas thanked Sarah again and again. Then he went away across the roof back into the house next door. Sarah went to the shops 5 or 6 times a day, and when she walked past the house next door, she thought about the Indian gentleman. She was sorry for him. He had no wife or family, and the doctor visited the house every day. Mr. Carmichael, the lawyer, visited too, and sometimes the Carmichael children went with him. Sarah was happy about that. It's nice to see friendly faces when you are ill, she thought. The Indian gentleman thought that too. He liked children very much, but he was a very unhappy man. Mr. Carmichael was his friend, and he talked to him a lot, but they talked about only one thing. "I must find the child," said the Indian gentleman. "His name was Mr. Carrisford. I must find her and take care of her. But where is she? Here I am, with all his money from the diamond mines, and half of his is Ralph Cruz's money. Oh, Carmichael, why did I leave my friend and run away when things looked bad? Why?" "You ran away because you were ill with a fever," said Mr. Carmichael. "It nearly killed you, remember?" "And it did kill poor Ralph," said Mr. Carrisford. "He put all his money into the mines because I was his friend. But at first we didn't find any diamonds, and all Ralph's money was gone. I was too afraid to tell him, so I ran away. And later, when we did find diamonds, Ralph was dead." He laughed angrily. "What a brave friend I was!" "It's not easy to be brave," Mr. Carmichael said quietly, "when you are ill with a fever." Mr. Carrisford looked into the fire. "Ramdas tells me," he said, "about a little servant girl next door. The monkey ran away, and thus Ramdas went across the roof to get him from her room. The poor child sleeps in a cold, dirty attic and works about 16 hours a day. Is Ralph's daughter living like that? I can't stop thinking about it. Where we are going to find her one day, Mr. Carmichael." "But how?" said Mr. Carrisford. He put his head in his hands. "I've never seen her. I don't know her name. Ralph always called her his little missus. We talked all the time about the mines. He never told me the name of her school. Her mother was French, so did he take her to a school in France, or was it in England? Well, we know there was a child at a school in Paris, said Mr. Carmichael, with the name of Carlo or Crew. Her father died suddenly, and the Russian family took her away with them because he was a friend of their daughter. Perhaps this girl is Ralph Crew's child. Next week I'm going to Moscow to look for her. I want to go with you, but I'm not very well, said Mr. Carrisford. I must find her, Carmichael. I must. Every night I dream. I see Ralph Crew's face and he says, Tom, Tom, where is my little missus? And I have no answer for him. Mr. Carrisford took his friend's hand. Help me to find her. Help me. Winter came, with its short, dark days, and the attic rooms were very cold. There were no fires for servant girls, and often Sarah and Becky could not sleep because of the cold. Sarah was taller now, and her old black dress was very short. Her shoes were very old, and he had no warm coat for the winter weather. She was thin too. She did not get very much to eat, and she was always hungry. She carried big bags of shopping through the rain and the snow. One day she found a sixpence in the snow and she bought some hot bread with it. Then she saw a child by the door of the shop. The child had no shoes and no coat, and her thin face was blue with cold. She is hungrier than I, thought Sarah, and she gave her hot bread to the child. When she got back to the school, Miss Minchin was angry. Cook is waiting for you, Sarah. Why are you late? I can't walk quickly through the snow, said Sarah. My shoes are old, Miss Minchin, and my feet get very cold. Miss Minchin did not like to hear this. Don't speak to me like that, she said. I am kind to you. I am giving you a home, but you never say thank you to me. Sarah looked at her. You are not kind, she said quietly, and this is not a home. Go to your room at once, said Miss Minchin. On the stairs, Sarah met Lavinia. Lavinia looked at her and gave a little laugh. Oh, here is the Princess Sarah, she said, in her old dress and her dirty shoes. In the attic, Sarah sat down on the chair by her table. I must be brave, she whispered. A princess is always brave, so I must be too. But it's not easy. She put her head down on her arms. Oh, father, do you remember your little missus? Can you see me now? And in the house next door, Mr. Carrisford sat by a warm fire. Moscow is a long way from London, and he could only wait, but he thought about Ralph Crew's child every day. He thought about other children too. Ramdas, he said, how is that poor little servant girl next door? How can we do something for her? I see her in the street every day, said Ramdas. In the rain, in the snow. She looks thin and hungry, but we can help her. I can easily get in through her attic window. Listen. And he talked for some minutes. Mr. Carrisford smiled. Yes, he said to Ramdas. Yes, I like it. Let's do it. And this is chapter 4. I think it's so intense. I'm so curious now. The story, every chapter ends with such a suspense. You think, what is going to happen now? What are those guys planning to do? It's very exciting. But to find out more, uh, listen to me next time. Thank you for listening. Take care of you. Bye bye.